Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Wow, coming in hot.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm well, Emily. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to
Confidently Controversial.
the show that's about
Movies and stuff.
exactly. How are you doing today?
You already asked me that.
Did I?
Yes. Stop asking.
Sorry.
If you don't want to hear the truth, stop
Oh
asking.
my God. How's your weekend been?
It's been good. I was decorated for Christmas.
I saw it's so nice out there, Kim. You really did a great job decorating.
I tried my best.
It's lovely.
Thank you. I'm not 100% happy with it yet, but
Why?
I don't know. I don't feel like the mantle's quite right.
You love a mantle.
I do. I do.
I'm sad because we were going to get a tree this weekend, but it's just been so gross outside.
God,
like we
I
can't
know.
get. It's like rainy and
Yeah.
damp and misty.
Yeah, today is just like nonstop downpour.
I know, and it makes me sad because I really wanted to get a Christmas tree this weekend, but there really
Yeah.
is no way.
And then you have like a lot less time with your tree if
I
you don't get
know.
it this weekend.
I know, unless we get it during the week, like
You'll
after school
barely
one
know
day.
that tree before it's
I'll-
gone.
I bond with the Christmas tree
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I try and I just try and soak in as much of the Christmas tree as possible and as much of the Christmas spirit.
Suck on that sap.
I do. I take a bristle and I just rub it on my cheeks. No, I love the Christmas spirit. It's been really good. Also exciting. Today is my anniversary of marriage.
Yes, it is.
I was wedded 12 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank
12?
you. 12 years ago.
How about them apples?
Yeah.
I have fond memories of your wedding.
It was a good wedding. It was a Christmassy wedding.
I remember sitting on the floor in a large ballroom the night before your wedding,
Yes.
trying to melt candles to like a tray.
Yeah,
Or
with like
something.
we had like holly that I picked from the
and pine
trees.
cones.
Yeah,
Yes.
we went. We made it fat. It looked nice at the end of the day.
But I remember it was like, I just have a very vivid memory of like sitting on the floor, like just trying to get these things to work the night before.
Yep. That was my wedding. It was really thrown together with tape and glue.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was very nice. It was
wouldn't.
beautiful. It was a beautiful place.
It was a very nice wedding. I mean, I had a baby at the time.
You did.
So
You did.
that kind of, and that's how I remember how many years I've been married because it's how old my daughter is.
Got it. Well,
But yes, it was a lovely wedding, and it's been 12 years of wedded bliss with my husband.
congratulations, I guess. Is that what you say? Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, congratulations, many more. Happy holidays.
Until we meet again.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about this, and I thought about maybe this is something I wanted to share on the podcast.
Okay, do you want to? Have you decided that you do?
I think I do. I think I do. So, I've been at my current job for probably about 6 months.
Okay.
And you work there too.
I do.
Yeah.
Sure.
But so like that kind of speaks to the smallness of the area we live in.
Sure.
That we both work at the same place. This is not the first time we've both worked at the same place.
True.
It's also not the second time we've worked at the same place.
That's true.
But someone else works at our work
Okay.
that
What?
I know.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
And that would be
he listens to this?
No.
Oh, God.
God, no. So my, I would say like, I call him my first boyfriend.
Yes.
Because I feel like he was like the first person like I didn't know that I was maybe in love with.
Sure.
I don't know.
I hope you were.
You hope I was not?
I hope you were.
Oh.
Jesus.
Because, but anyway, he works at our work.
He does, but our work is big. So
Yeah, it's
not
very
like-
big.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's the same building or anything like that. However, this week I got a Teams message that was like, hey.
Oh my God. What a day.
And I fell on the floor.
Did you?
And laid down for a little while. No.
In your mind, you did. Mentally, you laid on the floor.
I did, because I feel like it was like a crazy busy day. I was like shooting video that day, so it was like running all around and like talking to lots of different people and like constantly like checking my phone to make sure I'm like keeping up with work and like, you know, doing all the things. And then I looked at my phone and it was just like, boom.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God. And I don't know why that my initial feeling would be like bad, because I don't think it's bad.
No, so, and I mean, I saw the message. It
Yeah.
was very nice.
Yes, and then we had
Yeah.
some back and forth, and we conversed about our lives.
Yeah,
and
it's
that
positive.
it was done, and that's that.
That's that. And how
But-
do you feel about it now?
I feel fine about it. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, it's definitely something I think about. I've thought about since then.
Since earlier this week.
Yeah, since earlier this week. I mean, not like constantly or anything. But yeah, so. But then we were, then that brought up a discussion of you and I of like, what would you, like, what boyfriend
Oh,
would you be real sad if they worked at your work?
I would be real sad.
Yeah,
I
like if
worked
all
my
of a
work.
sudden this person was just like,
Hey.
hey, Emily.
Oh, I know which one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know which one, I think.
And would you feel like you had to climb under your desk, or would you feel like you had to like run away? Or does that person listen to this podcast?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
You have a real stank face on.
I do. I'm thinking of this ex-boyfriend. No, I think because the one that I'm thinking about would be like would definitely go out of his way to come and like try and be my friend and like talk a lot and would be like real weird about stuff. That's the one who I would not. I know the other one, my ex-boyfriend Adrian, who definitely does not listen to this podcast.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe. You don't know.
He definitely does
Okay.
not. If he does, that would make me very happy, actually.
Uh-huh.
I have, like, when we were talking about this earlier, I was like, no, I would actually be quite delighted if he showed up at work, because he's fun.
Yeah.
He was like fun boyfriend.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So he
Yeah.
would be fun to have around, but then there's other ones who I'm like, ooh, go.
Yeah, like there's ones where I would actively try to get them fired.
Yeah. Or I'd just be like, I gotta start looking for a new job. Gotta get out of here. Like today. Sorry, I quit.
Let's get out of here.
Like now. Well, speaking of,
Oh,
should we talk about a movie today?
I guess so. You don't seem into talking about my ex-boyfriend, so.
What else is there to say?
I don't know. I just feel like it was a thing that happened to me. And you're not interested at all.
I am interested, but I also think that it was a positive thing, and both of you guys have great lives now. And I think it was nice of him to reach out and say, hey.
Oh, so he was the better person in this scenario?
No, I think I mean, you've known that he's worked there.
Yeah. Okay. All right, talk about your movie.
I will. So we are doing Christmas movies
Yes.
for this month.
Last week we did a Christmas movie.
It sure was. And there was some controversy.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we posted on our Instagram and, you know, we got a little, there's been some back and forth. Not just about that movie, although some people do agree. They're like, no, Christmas is definitely in that movie.
Right,
It was
right,
Funny
right,
Farm.
right,
Christmas is
right.
definitely in that movie. And other people are kind of like, no, I love that movie. I really don't care if it's Christmas or it's not.
People seem to have good feelings about that movie overall, though.
I was thinking about it a lot this weekend, also because Chevy Chase is nearby to us right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he's in the vicinity of where we live.
Yeah, we
A short drive away.
I received a notification yesterday via social media that for a mere $900,
900.
you can have a meet and greet with Chevy Chase
Sounds
at this
terrible.
like Christmas Village thing.
No.
Which is just up the road. Which is just, it's weird. I don't know. It's just weird.
It is just weird. I just feel like and we've talked about this before on the podcast, and I feel as if meeting a celebrity, especially a celebrity that is aging and maybe not in the same space as they were,
Right.
it just feels a little weird.
You afraid Chevy Chase is going to say something mean to you?
No, I can take him down. Sorry, he's feeble. I can take him down.
All I can think about is the fact that, well, first of all, he doesn't want to meet us.
No,
He does
doesn't
not
wanna
want to
be
do
there.
this. He does not want to do this at all.
No.
Even if he's getting $900, even if he's getting the full 900, which we assume he's not.
He's not, because it's a benefit. So I do feel like that part of it is kind of like, just come here and, you know, you're just doing a good thing and you're helping people. So I feel like that's better than some like the Comic-Cons and these other
Does
things.
he
where
live
you're
in New
just-
Jersey?
I don't know where he currently lives. I assume he's a New York guy.
Oh, right. Well, it's funny because my husband and I, we used to live in Maryland, and one of the towns in Maryland is called Chevy Chase, Maryland. So I assume that's where he lives.
Probably. They're like, well, you live here now. We're just
Right.
going to name the whole town it. Yeah, I just feel like it would be just awful.
But then
to
at
do
the
that.
same time, I feel like, what if everyone thinks that and nobody does it, and he's just like all cold and sitting in a blankie, and he's just out there, and nobody wants to meet him.
People will want to meet Chevy Chase. I feel like there's a whole I feel like there's a whole set of people who have that kind of money to drop, who are a little bit older, who'll be like, no, I want to go hang out. I got that money and I got the time, and I want to go hang out with Chevy Chase.
Well, what kind of, like, bros?
No, I think like older people. I think
Older
like
bros?
like our parents' age people would be, who have that money, who are maybe retired and give to benefits a lot anyway. The golf set.
Okay.
They're like, oh, it's Caddyshack guy.
Okay.
Let's go hang out with him.
Yeah, that's what I mean, the bros.
Yeah, old bros.
Old bros. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, we watched Funny Farm last week.
We did.
Controversy
It
on
was
the Insta.
Controversy. So, as we said in the last episode, it was kind of like, well, we're dipping our toe in. We're not going full Christmas now. So, you know what? I decided I'm going to keep with that theme. We're going to dip ourselves in a little bit more this time.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Waist high.
Okay. In Christmas.
All right.
This movie was also not released at Christmas time, and there were actually many critics who questioned the summer release date of this film in America, because the film takes place during Christmas holiday season.
Okay.
And a lot of critics have said that this should have come out during Christmas instead. And it wasn't a Christmas movie at the time, but it's since become a movie that people do watch during Christmas, and it's definitely listed among Christmas movies. Like when I did a search of what are some Christmas movies from the 80s, this movie came up.
Okay.
For sure. So this movie was released June 8th, 1984.
Okay.
It was actually released on the same weekend as Ghostbusters. And I think the week after Indiana Jones and what's the middle one? The Temple of Doom. Yes.
Okay.
It was directed by Joe Dante.
Okay.
And
okay.
yes. And it was produced by Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Do you know what movie it is?
Gremlins.
Yes. To be shady about it anymore. Yes,
That's exciting.
I know. Are you excited to watch it?
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen this.
I know, and I'm excited. I brought my daughter here today, and I specifically wanted to bring her because I knew she would want to watch this movie.
Has
with
she ever
us.
seen it?
I think she has. For
Okay.
a long time, we held off on watching it because of the Phoebe Cates speech.
Okay.
That is also a very controversial speech in
Okay.
the middle of this movie. Do you know what I'm
No.
talking about? So Phoebe Cates gives, and this is probably one of the more, I would say, messed up parts
Okay.
about this movie. It's very dark. But there is a speech that Phoebe Cates gives in the middle of this movie that alludes to the non-existence of our friend Santa Claus.
I see.
So, we held off on watching that
Makes
for a while
sense.
because of that. But it's not super scary. One critic said of it, they said, whether you choose to see it as a statement on consumer culture or simply a special effects heavy popcorn flick, this movie is a minor classic.
It is.
It's a minor classic. Minor. It was a big box office success. It was produced for an $11 million budget, which is a little bit more expensive than Steven Spielberg wanted it to be, but it was relatively cheap for the time. But it grossed over $153 million in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, and it became one of the highest grossing films of 1984. And think about the competition. Like if you have Ghostbusters, Temple of Doom, it was a big movie here for that time. This movie is known for its mix of horror, comedy, and Christmas themes, which, how many movies are like that? And it was somewhat controversial at the time, as it was a little bit darker and certainly more violent for a PG-rated film. So this film was another one of those movies that, so you had Temple of Doom, you had this movie, you had, I think, Ghostbusters might not have been rated PG, but definitely this movie and contributed to the creation of the PG-13 rating, which came out later in the year. Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, because it is PG. I certainly did watch it when I was a kid.
We did too. I remember this was very much in the rent-a-video from the video store age. I remember, I believe my dad rented this for us.
Yes, it was rented for us.
Yeah.
I was sick the day we rented it, and we watched it at my grandma's house.
Okay.
And I had, it's a very like distinct memory for me where I had wanted to go to a birthday party at a water park because we watched it in the summer.
Oh, right.
And I wanted to go to a birthday party at a water park, and I was probably a little bit too sick to, but I still was allowed to go. And I remember coming home from that party and then just like
feeling bad.
The sickness just took
Washed
over.
over you.
And I remember laying on my grandma's couch and watching this movie and being like very scared and very sick all at the same time. I think I had a fever, and I may have contributed to like a fever dream afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So
I definitely remember the feeling of being a small child and being super like uncertain about what was gonna like when he gets the Mogwai.
Yes, the Mogwai.
And then
He is now.
yeah. And then like, and then the very distinct rules, because I love a rule.
I did and do you remember what the rules are?
You can't feed them after midnight.
Yes.
You can't get them wet.
Right.
And
oh, you got it. You're so close.
Can't feed them after midnight yet. I don't remember the third one.
No bright light. They don't like bright light. The no food after midnight has been, although they did add like some structure to the story, they certainly were. A lot of people afterwards were just like, well, no eating after midnight. It's always like after midnight somewhere. Like, is it just where they are after midnight? Like, what are the rules here?
Like, it's just supposed to be fun.
Yeah, come on, guys.
down.
They're fucking gremlins. Chill out. But yeah, so it was a success. But there were, because it was. They said like in the commercials for it, there were commercials that were certainly more like Gizmo heavy,
right?
That were definitely made it seem a little bit more like E.T.
Sure.
And then there were ones that were more Gremlin heavy,
right? That
made it a little bit scarier. But there were because of this. There were a lot of complaints from the audiences about the violence in it, because you had people taking their kids to go see this movie, and a lot of parents walked out.
Doesn't one of the gremlins stab someone with a candy cane?
There's it's pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of violence in this.
Like a pokey candy cane.
But it was going to be a lot more violent.
Oh.
And that was the thing with it, was that originally Gizmo, the kindly Mogwai,
right,
who knows to follow the rules. That's the other reason he's good. He follows the rules.
Right.
But originally, in the original script, he turns into Stripe, the leader of the Gremlins, and he turns evil.
Oh.
And they cut off the head of the mom.
Oh, God.
And they eat the dog.
Oh, God. Don't they when they reproduce, aren't they like little fuzzballs too?
Yes. Oh, I read a lot.
Sorry, I'm remembering. I probably haven't watched this movie. I maybe haven't watched this movie since I first saw it.
It's exciting. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I read a lot about the special effects. The special effects were very difficult in this movie, and they caused a lot of issues. The thing that I thought was the funniest about the special effects is that originally, because they have to think about the gremlins and how many gremlins there are, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So when they were thinking about how they were going to achieve this in the special effects for the film, originally it was going to be monkeys wearing costumes.
Oh my God. That's chaos.
But they couldn't do that because the monkeys didn't like the masks on their heads.
Oh my God.
So they had to take the masks off of the monkeys' heads, and they were like, I guess we got to make these into marionettes or something. So, so they ended up making them into marionettes, and it was a lot of special effects. And they said because a lot of the animatronic things, like Joe Dante wanted to keep Gizmo small, so he's cute, and the Mogwai were really teeny. But there were a lot of challenges with the they always broke, and it was it was very difficult, to the point where the people making the movie, they had created a list of things they wanted to do to Gizmo, like bad things to Gizmo. Jeez. And one of them actually ends up in the movie where they put him on a dartboard and someone throws darts at him. Yeah. So yeah, it was it was a lot of time was spent on the special effects, but I mean, at the time it was very cool. Like, it came out very, very well. Yeah, so it's horrible things to do with Gizmo, which I thought was funny. The other thing that was interesting that I didn't know, that I'm interested to see, is that when they are eating food and there's close-ups of the Mogwai, they're really large. Like, they're not close-ups of the tiny Mogwai. They actually made larger faces of
creepy.
I know. They made larger faces of the Mogwai because then they could be more expressive.
Right.
But then they had to make a bunch of, like, larger fake food for them to eat. So, yeah, I'm actually pretty interested.
Back in the shrinking woman
right.
category.
And the other thing that was interesting, where you talked about where they pop out of Gizmo's body as little furry balls and start to grow. Those were balloons with, like, fur around them, and they expanded the balloons, and they also used a balloon in the microwave
when it explodes.
When it explodes.
Oh, God, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny, but just I know there's so many things with this. This was another one of those movies that I just really enjoyed learning more about. Do you know who wrote this movie? No, you don't. It's Chris Columbus, who is, like, apparently just an all-star of Christmas. I mean, not only did he do Harry Potter and Adventures in Babysitting, he also, aside from just this movie, he wrote Home Alone, and he also wrote Christmas Vacation. Oh, wow. So he's responsible for a lot of our modern Christmas stuff. But he conceived of this movie while living in New York, and he had, like, rodents or something, and he would hear things like moving. Like, so he thought it was Gremlins. Gremlins in general was a notion that was conceived in the 1920s, where there were mechanical failures in aircraft, and they allude to this in the movie with, like, World War II and airplanes.
Didn't we talk about this during
Twilight Zone, which Joe Dante he directed the best segment with the little boy.
Oh,
yes,
right.
Yes, that was Joe Dante, and that was kind of like Steven Spielberg. It was like he had his initial success in the 70s, and then during this period of time he started to get more into producing because he wanted to expand his influence on film. So that's how he was doing that. And then after this movie he started moving into his more serious films. So he did, like, The Color Purple and Empire of the Sun after this movie. But yeah, so I didn't know that the term Gremlins was made popular by a book written by Roald Dahl, who was also a pilot during the World War II. So he wrote a book called The Gremlins, and Walt Disney actually considered making it into a film. Oh. Yeah, which I thought was kind of interesting. But, like, Joe Dante has, like, since said that his Gremlins are a little bit different from the film, and, you know, that they're not exactly the same, even though I wonder, I mean...
From the book? They're different from the book?
The Roald Dahl book that was written back in the day. So I thought that was very interesting, and I'm very excited to see it and to watch it. Apparently Steven Spielberg is in a cameo in this, so we can look for him.
Well.
The other thing that I was interested in with this is that you have starring in this is Zach Galligan, who's Billy Peltzer. He's, like, the main role in this, and this was, like, his breakout performance. And he didn't really do much. Like, he was in Gremlins 2. He's voiced other things. There's actually supposed to be a Gremlins 3 cartoon coming out soon.
Not interested.
No. But you know who was considered for the role of the main role in this? Emilio Estevez and Judd Nelson. They auditioned for it.
Okay, makes sense.
Zach Galligan got it because of his chemistry with the one and only Phoebe Cates, who is the female lead in this movie.
Isn't Chunk in this?
No, not Chunk. Someone else from Goonies is in it, though. In his first movie, after, like, up to this point, he was mostly in commercials. You have Corey Feldman.
What?
Yes. And after this movie was when he did Goonies and Stand By Me.
Okay.
So this kind of came before then. But yeah, so you have Phoebe Cates in there. Before this, she had done Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She's kind of an interesting character when you look into her a little bit. I saw a picture of her now. Oh, like super... Like the picture I saw of her, it really looked like her whole face had been comically pulled
Oh,
back.
that's a shame. She was very pretty.
Oh yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous. And do you know who did the voice of Gizmo?
No.
Howie Mandel.
Oh, I did know that.
You didn't answer it. You didn't answer it. But any hoodle, very excited to watch this movie.
Me too. I'm thinking a lot about it. I really don't think I've seen it since probably 1985 or 4, whenever it came out.
I feel like I've definitely seen it since. I feel like I definitely watched this as a teenager. I know my brother and I used to talk a lot about how messed up the whole Phoebe Cates speech is in this. We're just like, what the hell?
Well, it's funny because I don't know what you're talking about, and I wonder if we shut it off or something.
I don't know.
I'll have to see. Yeah,
I don't know. You'll have to see. Because I've wondered about my watching of it when I saw that. Like, I definitely probably, you know.
We were, what, 8?
I don't think I watched it when it came out on video. So it must have been like a year or so later. So I was definitely under 10.
Right.
When I watched this movie. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in this. I know we always like to talk about Roger Ebert, and I did. So Roger Ebert gave this 3 out of 4 stars.
Oh,
There's stars involved. There's no thumbs.
No, I know.
Yes,
but it's only 4 stars is the highest stars.
In his stars, in this, they specified 3 out of 4 stars.
Okay,
declaring it not only to be fun, but also a sly series of send-ups, effectively parodying many elemental film storylines.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So he enjoyed it. Also, Gene Siskel, his partner in crime, he actually gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars, describing it as wickedly funny and a slightly sick ride.
Oh, good.
I know, I'm really looking forward to this. But you know who didn't like it? Leonard Maltin.
Leonard.
Did not like it. But it's interesting because he actually appeared, because he panned this movie, he appeared in Gremlins 2, which I know I watched Gremlins 2. I vaguely remember it. It was more goofy, and that's what they say, and that's what they said when I looked it up. Like, it was certainly more goofy than the original one. But yeah, it's out there. It's out there if we want to watch it.
All right, good to know. Okay. Maybe next Christmas. So let's go and watch this movie, and we'll be right back. Yeah.
Controversial. Confidently controversial.
Da 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 da. Da, 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 da.
That movie is wild.
Wow. Okay, Christmas movie?
I mean, there's Christmas, so yes.
It's set in Christmas.
Yeah, it's set in Christmas.
There's Christmas music.
Yes, there is.
There's holiday decorations.
Yes.
There's a Santa Claus being attacked by gremlins.
There is.
Christmas movie. Christmas classic, I would say. Okay. So you have not seen this movie in a long time. In watching it, I don't feel like I've watched it, like actually watched it in a long time. So there, like, paying attention to it for the first time in a very long time was indeed wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know how to even classify it, because it definitely has like a horror element. But it also it's kind of like a spoof. Yeah. But it's also like very like farcy.
That's how they describe it. Like a comedy. It's like dark comedy, satire, horror mixed in, and Christmas. That's what they say. It's a mix of horror, comedy, and Christmas.
And Christmas.
Yeah, all together in one great movie that is Gremlins. So there's a lot that let's just start by just talking about the main characters in this movie.
Okay.
You got to start with the dad, I think, because he starts off the movie.
Because he's the one that caused this problem.
He caused the problem, and he's, as I mentioned while we were watching it, I feel like he's in this movie way too much.
Yeah, he is in it a lot, and he's very, like, I don't know, there's something about the actor that plays the dad, like, he's, like, a very good actor, but at the same time, like, he's very, like, expressive.
So he was actually a famous actor, so his name is...
Oh, yes, he's in Gremlins.
Absolutely. Very true.
Hoyt.
His name is Hoyt Axton, and he was well-known. He's a well-known folk singer and an actor at the time. So he has, like, great voice.
Yeah. But I feel like his face is very expressive, and, like, he, like you actually see him acting, which I feel like you
He's
don't
better
see.
than most of the people in that movie.
Yeah. And I can see why the boy Billy. I can
Billy.
see why he didn't really get many movies.
Oh, Billy. I mean, I don't know if it's Billy as much as it's the character who is a simpleton.
Oh my god, that boy.
Like the dad. So going back to the dad's character, he's an inventor.
Yes,
But he's like kind of like a salesman. He's more
like-
of a salesman than an inventor.
he's like Wayne Zelinsky.
Right. But he makes but I feel like Wayne Zelinsky more inventor than salesman.
Yes, fair.
Yes.
More
But
scientist.
More scientist. This
Right.
guy is supposedly an inventor, but really he spends most of his time being like all weird salesman-y.
Yeah, trying to sell his like what is it?
bad gadgets that no one needed.
Bathroom in a box or something like that.
Yeah, your bathroom buddy.
Bathroom buddy.
Yeah. Which it's
But it also seems too like all of the other inventions that they try of his are all of things that already exist
Or
like
aren't needed.
They showed like juicer, coffee maker,
right. An egg cracker. Oh, there's like the telephone. They have like a weird. It'll answer the telephone. You can talk on the phone like a little walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Which I feel like for the time there was no such thing as a cordless phone.
Right.
Really, I don't. If there were, I don't think many
They're
people
very
had
new,
them.
right.
Yeah. So he kind of has like a little like you can answer the phone with the remote control. All the lights in the house, and the mom is very much like, I guess I'm going along with this because I married this guy.
Yeah, she's very typical 80s mom, like
Perm.
perm
So much perm happened in this
Yeah.
movie.
homekeeper. She
Right.
like cooks and cleans for the family, but then like halfway through the film, she becomes like a total badass
For one scene.
for one scene. But she's amazing.
She is amazing.
I mean, she does a lot of gremlin killing
Oh my God. Yeah, she comes up big.
And,
like when
like,
she needs to.
and unique in
Yeah.
unique ways.
Oh yeah, she was like thinking on her feet.
She's the one that microwaved the gremlin. She's the one blended the gremlin.
She blended a gremlin.
Yeah.
She had a knife. She was going to stab a gremlin.
Yeah.
She took like the spray and
Oh,
used it
yeah.
to like spray it. It was like Pam
Like
cooking
bug
spray. I
Pam
thought it was
spray.
Pam cooking spray
Okay.
because she was baking. So that's what I thought would be there.
Right. Yeah, she was making some ugly ass cookies.
Oh my God. Like seriously, I think it's almost like the family is a little bit off,
Yeah.
but they don't talk about that. Like the dad being an inventor, I think it's mainly characterized as if he's just the crazy, eccentric inventor.
Yeah, because I thought about it. So before, like, even the movie started, I thought about the fact that, like, I remembered that the dad brought this thing home as the gift for his child.
Yes.
And even beforehand, I was like, oh, the kid, he's like a teenager. And I was like, a teenager doesn't want that. Like, it very much like if it was if he was supposed to be like 17 or whatever.
Right.
But then the movie started, and this kid's fully employed at a bank.
Well, so they imply that I assume he's like early 20s, like 23,
yeah.
because he's hanging out with Judge Reinhold,
yeah.
who's in this movie momentarily, and Phoebe Cates, and Judge Reinhold says that he's 23.
And a junior vice president.
I know, good for that
Yeah.
guy. Jesus,
Go ahead, buddy.
yeah, he's doing Judge. His with a name like Judge.
His name is Judge.
His name is Judge. So I feel as if this kid is 23 years old. I wrote down in my notes, weird family dynamic.
Yes.
Because they fully treat this boy as if he's a child, like a
Right.
little child. And even at one point when the mom is having her badass moment, she cuts open the boy's stocking and inside is a robot, like a
Mm-hmm. Right.
little toy robot.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're going to give your 23-year-old son a toy robot?
Right. Yeah, well, and he fully lives in the attic.
He
He
fully
fully
lives-
lives upstairs.
He fully lives upstairs. He's got a friend who is Corey Feldman, who is a little boy, probably like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe 11 or 12,
Maybe.
but definitely no more than that.
Right. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just fine that he hangs out. He goes to the school all the time, and he just walks in.
Right. And the way he talks, he's just like stupid. He's like, what's going on here?
Oh, I see.
Oh, a pupa stage? Like, I mean, he's really dumb. And he
Yeah.
brings his dog to work, which is
Yeah.
stupid
Maybe it is an emotional support, or like not a
because he's slow.
No, stop it.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh God, you're getting us in trouble now.
I'm not. I don't
Okay.
know.
Anyway,
Don't be mad at me.
I'm not. I think okay. So the mom's cool.
The mom's cool.
The brother,
The boy is not smart.
Cool.
No, he's
the
not
dad,
smart.
Not cool.
No.
Phoebe Cates.
she's weird too. I mean, she's in love with Billy.
She's traumatized.
She's
clearly.
traumatized. What did you think of the speech?
It was unnecessary. I mean, it's just like early on in the movie, she like rails against Christmas, and like
Right.
she's like, "Oh well, if you don't like the 4th of July, everybody's okay with it, but if you don't like Christmas, people are freaking out or something."
Right.
Like that.
Slow your roll, Phoebe.
Right,
Nobody
right,
cares
but
that much
no.
about you or your feelings
Right.
towards
No
Christmas.
one asked you what your favorite holiday was. Okay.
Right. You were the one who brought it up,
Right.
Phoebe.
So, she doesn't like Christmas because her dad got stuck in a chimney.
Yes, and broke his neck and died. And the way that they found
His neck.
you missed that part. That's how he died. He slipped and snapped his neck. He died instantly. That's what she says in the thing. But the way that they find it is that the dad doesn't show up on Christmas Eve. They don't know where he is. Police are involved now. Now it's been days since Christmas. Still can't find the
Days?
dad. Yes. You were walking around during this part. You were getting snacks. You weren't
No,
paying
I saw
attention.
this. I saw it.
Okay. So she's like, yeah, that they couldn't find, and then the house was so cold, and it sounds like everybody was just freaking out for this time because they couldn't find the dad. The house is so cold. So what does she do, Kim? She goes,
lights a fire.
She lights a fire, and that's when she notices the smell.
Oh God, the smell.
And then the police come, the firemen come they think it's just going to be a bird or a cat. But you know what? It's her dad's decomposing corpse.
Holding presents.
Holding presents because he was going to surprise the family.
By dressing up like Santa.
And she says, and that's when I realized there was no Santa Claus.
It's all about her.
I know. It's like a really crazy part in the movie. And it's not, like the thing I commented to you, the movie is not scary. And I remembered it being very scary when I was a kid.
Yes. It's,
Like, very scary.
it's very chaotic,
Sure.
which is scary.
Yeah, in its own way.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And the bad gremlins
Yeah.
are scary.
Are they? They're very fake looking.
I don't think so. It's funny to me. What's very funny to me is, so we did watch this with your daughter, and she referred to them as lizards.
Yes.
And I never thought of them.
No, they're gremlins.
They're gremlins.
Right.
But to her, they were either like alien, some sort of alien creature.
Right.
Or reptilian.
Well, she differentiated between the furry mogwai or
Right.
the lizards.
Yes.
Yes, they turn reptilian.
Right. They turn into lizards.
Right, they start as mammals and then they turn amphibian, I guess.
Yeah, fair.
It's pretty, like, the special effects in it, even though they're all practical effects, which I do appreciate, but they are pretty gross. Like, the part when the thing starts popping stuff out of its back,
Yeah.
even, like, the first part.
Even when the mogwai are birthed,
Oh, yeah. What did I write?
when they pop out, those little fur balls pop out, they kind of like hatch, and their ears.
You just Kim kept saying, dewy, they're dewy on the ears. Because they have a little mucus, they have like birth gook on them.
Yeah, birth gook on their ears, and then their noses are very moist and wet throughout the whole movie.
And I don't know how they're moist and wet because they can't drink anything.
No.
They just eat that gross sloppy chicken in that one scene.
Yeah.
And the noises are gross.
And you did question early on, you were like, oh, can they drink water? And they cannot.
No, they cannot. They can't drink any fluids. They're all dry. They're all dry all the time. That's why they're so grumpy and mean.
And that's why we were curious about their pee. Do they pee?
Do they pee or do they poop? And because that was my concern.
I'm sure they poop. They eat chicken.
Well, everyone was very blasé when first you have this one weird creature.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, oh, cool. Guess that's your new pet.
Let it sleep in your bed.
Right. Just let it sleep anywhere, not in a cage or anything.
Right.
Give it free reign. And my comment was not even like the terrifyingness of this weird animal sleeping in your house, but then the second thing of like, what if you don't know what it's going to like? Don't you need to take it outside? Does it know? Is it potty trained?
Right. Does it go in a litter box? What do you do with it?
What do you do with it?
Right.
And now you're going to have to go find the poop later? Like, I don't know. It's sleeping in a bed.
Well, and that's one thing too that kind of comes up as so the mogwai, gets wet. It births some creatures.
It pops them right out of its back.
And then some more bad creatures are born.
Right, but they're mean. Now, my daughter had a theory, and she told us that we have to talk about her theory on the podcast.
Okay.
So, because the the Gizmo guy, Mogwai, is real nice and
Right.
kind and sweet.
Yes.
But then all the little ones that pop out of it are mean.
Right.
Like from the get. They're mean.
Yeah.
So my daughter's theory is that they're mean because when Gizmo births them, he's in a state of pain because the water's fallen on him, and he's like screaming and he's squealing and he's yelling and he's like banging his arms and his legs and he's unhappy. So that's why they're all mean. And because we all questioned watching it, how do they know all this stuff? These things have they were just born. They know like about that. Like at one point you realize that they know how to read.
Right. They know how to read. They smoke cigarettes.
They know how to drink.
They know what a movie theater is.
They know how to be sneaky and cut the cord on the clock to make sure to trick the dumb boy into giving them food after midnight. So they know all this stuff. So her theory was that it's a transference of knowledge that happens.
Right.
And because it happened when Gizmo was upset, they're all mean, angry, Mogwai.
Do you know what my biggest question was?
What was it? I do. I want to know what it was.
So there's towards the end when there's dozens and dozens of mean gremlin.
So many mean gremlins. That happened in the Y, in the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're running around town, and like there's one scene where that mean old lady opens the door and they're singing Christmas carols.
Sure.
So this implies that they understand Christmas traditions.
Right. They know it's Christmas.
Right.
Which let us sing in the middle of the movie. We started singing, "Do they know it's Christmas time at all?" And the answer is yes.
But they have little tiny hats and gloves.
They're all decked out.
I know, but they're tiny. They're small. You have to figure it's not like they're borrowing them from a human being. Where are they getting
Custom
hats,
bespoke
gloves?
Christmas.
One guy has like when they're watching the movie, they all have like some of them have sunglasses. One of them has like a Hawaiian jacket. Where are they getting this wardrobe?
I don't know.
That's
but it's
my
delightful.
biggest question about the whole movie.
That's your biggest question.
Where do the small, tiny clothes come from?
I know. It's a wild movie. It's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
It's silly. It's much sillier than I remember.
It's very silly. Like there's definitely some like sound effects that are like in the beginning when the dad is in the Asian gentleman's shop.
Yes, dragon breath.
He talks about dragon breath, but then there's like a gong sound over it. And then they have some like when one of the gremlins gets hit on the head, they definitely do like a doink sound. You know what I mean?
Doink. Yeah, it's silly. And like the silliness when the lizard gremlins are going wild in the town and they're all doing silly stuff and they get drunk.
Right. Yeah.
And they all are watching they're watching Hi Ho together.
The Snow White.
Snow White. It's Hi Ho.
Right.
They're watching that. They're just being really like silly. They're dressed up all silly.
Well, when they're in the bar, Phoebe Cates' character, who works at the bank and also the bar,
Sure.
she is serving them.
Right. And she's like, "Please don't bite me." And she's giving them more and more booze.
She keeps pouring beer in their glasses
and lighting
cigarettes, trying to light cigarettes.
But here's my question about that. And we're going way deeper into this movie than anyone ever needed to. But when she lights the lighter to give to light the smoke, they get all freaked out by like the light, and that's how she recognizes like, oh, I can get past them by like flashing bright lights at them. But prior to that scene, they are smoking cigarettes. So how did they get the other ones lit?
Maybe one of them. They kept it and let it
like in the wind.
Yeah.
Like in the wind.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. I mean, the other thing that I did really enjoy about this movie, there's so many Easter eggs in it.
Yes.
And I don't even I started writing them down, and I don't think I picked up on it. And when I was doing the research for it, I did read some allusions to the fact that there's a lot of Easter eggs in it. And my understanding is that the director, his even to this day is major like film historian kind of guy, and is all about film preservation for old films and making sure that it's kind of interesting with him. it's been like this huge thing for him to have, to make sure, I think he teaches at a school or something.
Joe Dante.
Joe Dante, yes. So he's a strong advocate for film preservation, and he's kind of known for his extensive knowledge of film history. So that's a thing with him.
Cool.
And he also often speaks about the importance of preserving classic films for future generations.
Oh, nice.
So throughout the movie, there's a ton of little things in here that are kind of amazing. So I want to go through my list, and I'll see if you picked up on any other ones.
Okay.
When they're in the bar, when the Gremlins are in the bar, the video game that they're playing is the Star Wars video game.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of Spielbergian, Lucas kind of thing. So there's Star Wars in there. In the beginning, like the whole town and the way in the beginning where they track Billy walking through the town with a dog is It's a Wonderful Life. And they actually show scenes of It's a Wonderful Life later on in the film.
Well, there's also that Indiana Jones billboard.
Yes, I have that. The Indiana Jones billboard. When they go through town, they show the marquee on the movie theater. The two movies that are playing are A Boy's Life and Look to the Sky. So A Boy's Life is a reference to E.T. That was the working title. Like that's what the title they put on it when they sent it out to movie theaters, so that they wouldn't know it was E.T. I guess people would steal films. I don't know.
that was a big thing.
I guess it was. And then the other movie that was on the marquee was called Look to the Sky, which is a reference to Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Wow.
Spielberg movie. The mean lady, Miss Deagle. So she's like, it's like Wizard of Oz. She wants the dog. She's like, I'll take that pretty dog and I'm going to kill it.
She really wants to kill a dog.
She really wants to kill a dog. So that she's very Miss Gulch. I feel. And then also in one part when they're in the biology office, you see drawn on the table next to where they have the mogwai in a cage, it's a little drawing of a piranha. Piranha was Joe Dante's first movie that he made. They also show parts of the movie The Body Snatchers, which have pods in it, which are very much like the pods of the Gremlins that are in this movie. If you look in the background on one of the scenes when the dad is at the Inventors Conference, in the back you see someone dressed like Marilyn Monroe walking over a grate. So that's Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
Yes. And then at one point, I think it's one of the bad ones says phone home. Bah.
Yeah.
At one part. They dress you on this one where they're all dressed up during the one scene. One of the Gremlins is dressed up like how E.T. dresses up when Gertie dresses up E.T. which is really cool. So those are the ones that I picked up on. I feel like there's probably a ton more in there.
Well, so in the beginning of this movie, I asked you if Chunk was in Gremlins. Remember?
Right.
That is because in Goonies, at one point, Chunk calls the police. Do you remember this? He calls the police when they're in the Fratelli's basement, and he's trying to get help for them, right? And he's like, these people, they're trying to, like, talking about
it's the Fratellis.
Yeah. And the cop on the other side guy goes, oh yeah, just like when all those little green guys were running around. And that's a reference to Gremlins. And then, so I was reading about that a little bit more while we were watching, and there's some discussion online that those movies exist in the same universe.
Oh,
yes.
How? What are the other connections?
I mean, Christopher Columbus was the writer on both of them, I think.
Yes.
And so, I don't know, they just kind of mentioned some other overlapping things about, like, directors and, behind the scenes
Interesting.
stuff. But I know that they don't take place in the same town, though.
No.
Because Goonies is in, like, Portland or in Maine. No, in Maine.
Okay,
right?
But where is... I don't even know where Gremlins was.
I don't know where this is.
Like Bedford Falls.
Yeah, I don't know where that is either.
Well, Bedford Falls is from It's a Wonderful Life. Kim. The other thing I wrote down was that Gizmo, not as cute as I remember.
He's pretty cute.
Is he? In the posters, he's cute, but the actual puppet,
yeah,
it's like a weird mouth.
Weird mouth.
Like a putty mouth.
Well, and also like a little evil mouth.
And it's got little teeth in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. And like the way its mouth moves when it's sad, it's like, and its eyes, like that one part where it's falling asleep, it looks all weird and drugged out. It's like,
his mouth is shaking.
Yeah, like it's
not as
cute as I remembered, and a little dewy around the nose.
Yeah, too much moisture around the nose.
Yeah, and where they're getting that moisture, we don't know. We don't know. We're not supposed to ask.
Dehydrated creatures.
They're very, very dehydrated. The other thing, when I was doing research for it, a lot of the reviewers go to this other place, and I kind of I think I talked about it when before we watched it, but they talk about how the Gremlins are representing different things in society. So I mean, I was trying to go to that place while we were watching it to say, okay, what do the Gremlins represent? What is it? But I feel like something was so chaotic with them.
Yeah.
I couldn't see that there was much meaning. Like they have them drinking, you know, but then to me, watching that scene, it's just silly.
Right.
You know, that's why they do it.
I could see, like, you mentioned something about, like...
technology.
And also, like, consumerism or capitalism. You know, this idea that we have to have this latest, greatest thing.
Sure.
Which even the 80s, you had no idea. Dear the 80s.
Dear the 80s,
You have no clue.
Right. It just got... Guys, it just got worse.
Right. So, yeah, like, I definitely, you know, I see that. Like, the guy won't take no for an answer to buying this weird animal from a shop in Chinatown.
I know. It's very strange. But then they say it's also anti-technology, which, I don't know. I get that they were saying that the Gremlins are, you know, that they were put in there and they were what took down the planes. They talk about that.
Oh, right.
But I didn't feel like it was, I really did not see any sort of, and maybe I just didn't have my hypercritic helmet on.
They had that neighbor in there who just, like, his only existence in the movie was to rail against foreigners. Foreign cars.
You mean my new style icon?
Right.
He wears this outfit in this movie that is essentially like old man jammies, a flannel robe. He goes outside with like boots on and like a bomber jacket that's like lined with fleece or lined with like Sherpa line.
Yeah.
And that is the outfit that I just want to wear all the time.
You should.
That's my new look, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, all he does is rail against foreigners.
Yeah, he's just like foreign cars. He hates foreign cars. He hates...
And, well, I mean, Gizmo is foreign himself.
Yes. He does not like... anytime anything breaks, he's just like... It's like, foreigners.
Yeah. There's a foreign movie comes on at one point.
A French movie.
Foreign.
Yeah.
I don't speak French. I wouldn't know that was French they were speaking. So, I thought it was... I don't know. And then I even saw that one of the critics, when they were listing out the things that they represent as bad, one of the things was Disney, because they like Disney.
Yeah.
And Disney's this big consumerism thing, to which I say, screw you all.
How dare you?
How dare you? Disney is wonderful. The last thing I did want to bring up that we talked about a lot while watching this was the presence of perms.
Yes. Yeah, but the mom and the son have strong perm.
I mean, the dad kind of had... I don't know if they permed his hair, but he's got a little wave going on for sure. They all have the same exact hair.
Yeah.
Except the dad's is a little bit more gray.
Yeah, and we said perm, and your daughter did not know what a perm was.
She did not know what a perm was, so we had to briefly explain. Just kept yelling perm juice at because I feel like the perm juice is what made Billy so dumb.
Right. Did you ever have a perm?
Of course I had a perm.
You did? I never did.
You never did?
No.
Your mom. I could see your mom just being like, you can't have those chemicals on your head.
My mom had a perm.
She had a perm with her little red hair? Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and what did not work.
I can't imagine it would. No, your mom's beautiful, but no perm.
No perm.
No perm. Mm-mm. I got a perm when I was in 4th grade. Okay. Because they were very big. Yeah. A spaghetti perm, I think, or a spiral perm. I forget.
Okay.
But I remember going, and I just remember it taking so long.
And smelling so bad.
And they put all these chemicals on your hair, and you just have to, like, sit there with these chemicals. And I remember, I think it might have been the first time I got a perm, I had the night before stayed up all night at a sleepover party. I think it was the first time I ever stayed up all night without sleeping. And I was just falling asleep in the chair with the perm things in my hair. But I do remember it just taking such a long time. And then you had this perm, and it never really looked right. And I remember like reading the teen magazines from back then, and all the girls had perms, and you'd like have to scrunch it, and they sold those diffusers with the to make your hair curlier. Yeah. It didn't look good.
No, it was too tight. Like, most of the time, the perms made your hair, like, very, very, like, coiled and very, very, like...
stringy.
Yeah, and then people would put, like, gel in it to make them crunchy. Yeah. Right?
No, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
I've always had the same hair. Always.
I have not. I had like, it was cut into like a little mushroom cut with my perm.
Did you brush it?
I don't
you
know.
can't
And then
brush
remember,
a
you
perm.
couldn't wash it for like the first couple days.
So you just stank like perm.
You stank like perm for a few days. I don't remember. I don't think I did it right. I look at pictures of myself from that time in my life, and it just was like this weird
Like helmet?
stringiness. No, it was just like stringy and like just kind of like crimpy looking.
Okay.
Is what it kind of looked like. I don't know. I probably wanted one a lot, which is why my mom took me.
Your
to
mom
do
was
it.
like, "You'll say."
Yeah, my mom, who has like lovely, naturally curly hair.
Yeah.
She doesn't need it. My mom didn't need no perm.
That's true. Your mom didn't.
No.
Good for her.
Yeah, she got away with the best hairstyle from then. So that was Gremlins.
That was Gremlins.
I think for our next Christmas movie, you're picking the next one.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm just gonna make a suggestion.
Okay, go.
Let's get some, like, I want to watch an actual Christmas movie.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about today. The movie I really want to watch today is Home for the Holidays. Isn't that what it's called? What's the one with Jude Law?
Of the holiday.
The Holiday.
Oh man.
Let's watch that. Not for the
No.
podcast, but
No.
let's just watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
I love Jude Law. in that
I almost
movie.
watched it the other night, but I was like, I can't watch this with my kids.
No, they'll ruin it.
No. I feel like my husband would ruin it. He would just be like, what is this movie?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is stupid.
No, that's an Alone with Wine movie.
Yes, for sure. Do you want to hear how a Mr. James Spader connects to this?
You know that I do.
Spader time. Spader time. That's the song that goes with this.
I like it.
Okay. So I started off because we've noticed a lot of the time there's a lot of men.
Yeah.
So I went with the ladies.
Great.
So we start off with a Miss Phoebe Cates,
Perfect.
who was in one of your favorites,
Shaq.
Drop Dead Fred.
Oh.
Don't you like that movie?
I do. I also like Shag, which she was in.
So Carrie Fisher was in Drop Dead Fred.
Yes.
Yes, she was. Carrie Fisher was also in Soap Dish with Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh, okay.
who was in several movies with James Spader, but I chose to focus for this movie on a movie called Tough Turf
Of course you
with
did.
James Spader, which was James Spader's first like leading male movie.
Tough Turf.
Tough Turf, where he was like, I read the description of it, and it's like he's a kid from like the wrong side of the tracks. He's a tough kid, but now he's like now he's going to be the hero or something.
Nobody's buying the fact that he's from the wrong side of the tracks.
Right, and he's supposed to like be going up against some like toughs at the school. But I looked through I looked through the pictures from the school, and it's all just like a bunch of white kids with perms.
Okay.
And like crimped hair. So
Okay.
yeah, so that was that. And I also found out, fun fact. Robert Downey Jr. And James Spader became really good friends because this was like a first movie that they ever made together, and they became really good friends on the set of Tough Turf.
Okay.
So much so that after the film, Robert Downey Jr. named his cat after James Spader. He named his cat Jimmy.
Aww.
I
That's so cute.
I thought you enjoyed that little fact.
Did.
Well, this was a good one.
Yeah.
Do we have to tell the people anything?
Oh, yeah, we do. So, listen up, folks. Is that what you're supposed to say?
Yes.
Hear ye, hear ye. You should totally like follow us on Instagram and stuff.
On TikTok
And
and
TikTok at
YouTube.
Confidently Contro.
Sure, you can find
Or
us.
at Confidently Controversial. You know, use the Google and do it.
Yeah, and we're like hashtagged in there. We're all the things that you're supposed to be. So
And, you know, when we post our posts, we like it when you comment. We really appreciate the feedback. Some of you are hanging in there with us from week to week, and we see you.
we see you. We love you. We thank you.
appreciate it very much.
We back you up when you say that Die Hard is a Christmas movie and
Yeah.
other people say it's
We've
not.
never even seen it, but we agree with you.
Right. We back you up. We also encourage you to tell a friend about our little podcast here. It's coming to the end of the year. We've been doing this for a bit now, and I'm just proud of how it's grown and how it's going, and it's really fun. So I'm glad that everyone's sticking with us, and we will stick with you to the bitter end.
Right. So you should be like confident in your Christmas shopping this year, right?
Non sequitur, but yes.
Well, this is what we do now, right? And I don't understand how it works every week.
Go with it.
Okay.
So you should be confident. Let's say it again.
Confident in your holiday shopping. You should go out there and just be like, this is the gift for this person, even if it's a mogwai.
Yes, but don't get something like a mogwai because it's a controversial choice, because when you take down the town, you're going to cause controversy.
Okay, so one click less than mogwai in your confidence scale.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Happy holidays.
Goodbye.
Confidently controversial.